Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society. I call this podcast episode Are You Afraid of the Dark with Jessica McHugh. An episode of Ghoulish with me, Max Booth, a host. Welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen, ghouls and fools. I am talking with Jessica McHugh about the most Canadian spooky show ever created. Are You Afraid of the Dark? I never watched this show until she told me to watch it, and then I watched it, then we got on Skype, and we had a bit of a conversation. So if you ever wanted to listen to two Americans, talk about a Canadian property, this is the podcast for you. Eh? Eh? So I think I've watched 5 episodes of the show now. So
that's amazing.
I think I'm officially Canadian.
Yeah. You're ready to party.
Do we just proceed to talk in Canadian accents this whole episode, or is that gonna get us killed?
Yeah, probably get us in trouble. But yeah, I do. I love cigar smoke. Cigars.
So you were a big fan of this show, and I'm new to it. I didn't watch it. I didn't have a Nickelodeon as a kid, so maybe that's why I missed it.
I didn't have it until a little later. My mom blocked it too, so it was rough.
We had Fox. That was pretty much it.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's only a news station, so we can't block that channel.
No, of course not. Of course, need that to live. My mom blocked Nickelodeon and MTV from my brothers and I because she felt like we were watching it too much. I mean, I was like 9 or 10, so I don't know what the problem with watching Nickelodeon was. But anyway, like my brothers found out the code, of course, because they were sneaky, and then they sold me the code, or one of my brothers sold me the code so I could unlock it.
What did you pay?
Yeah, I think it was like $5. But it was just ridiculous because it turned out to be my mom's code for everything, like pay-per-view and ATM and.
Oh no.
Yeah. But like Snick was we had Nickelodeon upstairs in my parents' bedroom, so like Snick, which Are You Afraid of the Dark premiered on, was like a treat for me. So I could go upstairs and watch it in my parents' bedroom because, I mean, nobody wanted to watch it with me at all. I don't think I ever watched it in the family room. Like if my brother came up to watch, he would come up to watch Ren and Stimpy and then leave immediately.
What the hell was Snick?
It was Saturday night Nickelodeon.
Oh.
So it was 4 hours, I believe. 2 hours, 4 shows. And it was things like Clarissa Explains It All, Ren and Stimpy, Roundhouse, all that. Are You Afraid of the Dark? I think Pete and Pete was on there at one point. Rugrats, Real Monsters. Like lots of like just kind of the weirder and scarier and like comedy shows run by kids, basically. And Mike O'Malley was like the host, which is like a lot of the years, which I always thought was funny watching Glee and whatever sitcom he was on, Mike and Molly. And because I remember calling, they would have all kinds of like, vote on this or get your name on Snick or whatever. So I would spend hours on the phone listening to Mike O'Malley's voice and be like, just keep holding on. You're the next in line. So, and that was, it was like, Snick was probably one of the more formative things in my childhood as far as like entertainment, like along with, and writing wise, because I think it took more risks than a lot of kid shows and stuff that were on, which is why I guess it was late night at like, 8.
That's pretty late for a kid though.
Yeah.
That's like, oh man. It was
7 or 8. Yeah. But Are You Afraid of the Dark was the last one, because I remember the Ren and Stimpy end music used to scare the shit out of me, because then a scary voice would come on and be like, "Are you afraid of the dark? Coming up next on Snick."
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, so I would get like, I get like really scared and
yeah.
And just get ready. And it was the worst because like sometimes my brother would spy on me watching it, and he would use things from the episode to freak me out later.
Oh no, like what? Any instances you remember?
There's I think it's called The Tale of the Lonely Ghost. It's about a ghost that gets trapped in a mirror, and this girl like goes into this house, and she goes into this room, and just all around the room are the words "help me" written backwards. So it's just like, and then she looks in the mirror and there's like a ghost that's like, "Help me."
How would you say "help me" backwards? Terrifying.
So I went into my bedroom after the episode, and he had written on pieces of paper, "Help me" backwards all over my room.
That's great.
And it was just like the episode. I screamed, the camera spun out, like it was, yeah.
Yeah, and then we cut away to a bunch of kids sitting around a campfire. I'm trying to think now, because I didn't have Nickelodeon, so like, what the hell was I watching on Saturday nights? And I think I was just watching the back-to-back of Cops and America's Most Wanted. So
that sounds right.
Yeah,
that's probably what my mother was watching downstairs.
Yeah. It's pretty much the same thing as Are You Afraid of the Dark?
It is. So yeah, a little bit. I mean, I feel like the plot lines are a little bit more crazy in Cops.
Are You Afraid of the Dark is the Canadian version of America's Most Wanted.
That is true. Yeah. I have heard that.
Yeah. That's what is known. I found a mental floss page called 15 Frightening Facts about Are You Afraid of the Dark, and that's the number one fact. It was a spin-off of America's Most Wanted.
Excellent.
I will get into that article in a few. But Phyllis, like, how did you discover the show? Was it just like, oh, well, this is coming on and I'm going to check it out? Did someone tell you about it?
Yeah, so my husband actually reminded me of this. A year before it premiered on Snick, they showed, I think it was the second episode in the season, but it was the first episode they ever showed on Nickelodeon as part of a Halloween special. It was The Tale of the Twisted Claw. So a real well-known story. It really wasn't, they didn't add anything to it all that much. It's a pretty straightforward telling of the story. I think I saw that. And then the next year it was just on. I'm sure I just saw ads for it and stuff. So I would have been 10. Yeah, 10, almost 11. So yeah, I don't know what I was watching on Nickelodeon up at that point where I would have been seeing, probably like Double Dare. I watched a lot of Double Dare and Guts and what's the one with the crag?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Was
I
this
forget what it's called.
Was this
But
show? Was this show
where
like
you win
the?
a piece of the crag.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watched a lot of those. So it was probably because I'm sure Snick was like a big deal. It was the first like late night kids programming basically on that station. So and they had like gimmicks like the big orange couch. Get on the big orange couch and watch Snick. And a bunch of other random things. Like I said, they would do a thing. It was like, the big orange couch is coming to your school.
What
Just
the hell?
send in postcards. And yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no. It was insane 90s. Like, I don't know who the ad wizards who came up with half this stuff were. But, you know, on Nick Jr., the host was a popsicle stick with eyes. So, I mean, they just threw shit at the wall and saw what stuck. And apparently a lot of goofy shit did.
So this TV show threatened to send a couch to schools? What the hell?
The Snick, Nickelodeon would send a couch to your school.
Did that actually happen?
I'm sure it did. I'm sure there are, I bet you could find probably some articles about people who actually had Nickelodeon and the big orange couch visit their school.
I know at one point we did get Nickelodeon, but it didn't last long because I remember the green slime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't do that on television.
Yeah, I've always wondered what that felt like.
Yeah, me too. I always wanted to go. I never got to go to, was it Universal Studios that had like the Nickelodeon tie-in back in the day?
I think so.
I always wanted to go and get slimed. But, you know, you could probably make it at home and just. I
bet you some creepy feckle saved some of that and sells it on eBay now.
Oh, I guarantee. I knew. I worked at a sub shop in Baltimore, and my boss was on Double Dare. He got to the final obstacle course and he lost.
Aw, and that's why he runs a sub shop now. If he had won.
Yes, exactly true. That's exactly true.
Was this show like an introduction to this genre, you think?
I don't think so because I watched Creep Show, I think before that, so I had seen like kind of horror anthology shows, but certainly, I mean, well, I guess Tales from the Dark Side is kind of also an anthology told by somebody else. So, yeah, no, I think it was just my first experience with kids being the ones, starring in the stories and telling the stories. And I really liked how, some stories were sweet, they had a happy ending, and some stories were like, that's fucked up.
Yeah, I saw a few of those today.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the ones you saw, maybe all of them, I could be wrong with that, might be Betty Ann stories.
No, I don't think so. No? I don't know the names all, but I know at least one of them a boy told it. So.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure 13th Floor is a Betty Ann. If it ends with a weird twist ending, it's usually a Betty Ann.
Yeah, so let's get into the cast then, because it seems like, do we keep the same cast throughout the show? It seems like they all have a specific personality to them.
Yeah, so most of them do. There are two characters, two of the people around the fire that are only in 2 episodes each. And so they didn't really get a chance to hit like a niche story. And then I think somebody joins later. I think it might be Kristen, and Tucker comes in later. I think at the beginning it's Gary, Betty Ann, Kiki, Frank, and Sam, and David. I can't remember if Eric is there in the beginning too. Eric's personality was just like making fun of people, and so they were like, "We don't like this guy," and they got rid of him, which sucks because he actually has two of my favorite stories, and he got eliminated immediately.
Oh no! What happened to him? Do they kill off this cast or what?
Well, what's funny is like a lot of the characters who leave they're just like, oh, they moved away, and they, that's how they explain it. But with Eric, they didn't even say it. Like, they never explain what happened to him.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah, like his.
How did
I think
this?
his grandfather dies and disappears.
Oh yeah. How did this Midnight Society like connect? Do they ever explain like the origin story behind it?
I think so the original series went from, I think, 92 to 96, and then they did another series from like 99 to 2000, which was garbage. But in the garbage season, I'm pretty sure they explained that like Gary's grandfather founded the Midnight Society or something like that. I tried to watch some of the older ones recently, and oh God.
Oh no. I love the idea of these kids just every night hanging out around a campfire in the Canadian woods.
And there was a new season, or a limited series. I think it was 3 episodes. I watched the first one, and then I haven't been able to finish it because I can't find it free, that they put out last year. But the first episode was really good. It was like the stories had started leaking into the real world with the Midnight Society, and the Midnight Society had to like battle them. So it was kind of cool.
It's crazy you say that. It just like triggered a memory of a Shield story I wrote as a kid that had the same plot.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Wow. Do you think I was robbed?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, I'm going to sue Canada.
That happened to me the other day. Someone was describing a movie on Shudder called The Collector. And I was like, oh, I have a short story called The Collector. And I was like, I pulled it up on my phone, and my friend was saying, yeah, it's about this guy. It's kind of like Saw in a way, like a prequel to Saw, where the guy's collecting like fear. And the first line of my story is like, I've always collected fear.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, oh, damn it.
That reminds me, I saw this movie on Netflix you would like. I forget the title, but it's about like this junkie guy who is addicted to this new drug that you have to shoot into his scrotum. I think you would like it.
That does sound like something I'd like. I really like scrotal drug movies.
For anyone listening who now thinks I'm a creep, please go buy The Green Kangaroos.
Yes, please and thank
you. Okay. How did these kids get a bag of gunpowder?
That's a good question. I assume that, they each bring a little bit from home, some kind of magic totem, and like grind it up and it becomes the powder. That's what I like to think. But really, Gary tells all the magic stories, so he probably just stole it from a magic shop or some shit.
Yeah, well, maybe this grandfather passed on just a bunch of explosives.
Yeah, all the explosives.
When he died, that's what he got.
That would be a fitting ending to the Midnight Society. Like, someone gets the wrong bag and they all just blow up.
I think his grandfather was an anarchist.
Well, yeah. He's encouraging children to go off and tell horror stories in the woods and set fires and shit.
Would you have joined the Midnight Society as a kid?
I like to think I would, but like I feel like I'd be real scared.
Yeah, me too.
like playing flashlight tag in the woods, I used to get like real scared, and a lot of times would just like end up being like, okay, catch me.
Oh, gotta go home. Is that my mom?
Anymore.
Is that my mom calling me? I gotta go, guys.
Yeah. Can I be it so I can have the light? Yeah, I'd like to think so. I mean, it's the same thing. I think I'd probably more be part of the Dead Poet Society than the Midnight Society, because I'm a wolf.
Wasn't that a spin-off of this show?
What's that?
Wasn't that movie a spin-off of this show? That's what happened when they went to college?
I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
There is I do get scared every time, like, Robin Williams tells them to lean into, like, the cabinet and look at the pictures of all the dead boys that went to Dalton, and he's like, Carby, Comedian.
That movie should have been a ghost movie.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels, the second half of it definitely feels that way. What with Neil, like the music kind of changes and stuff like that. I feel like it is a little bit at the end. It's a good movie.
It is a good movie. I like it. This is a good show. A good Canadian show, I should say.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely some stinkers.
I only watched the ones you told me to watch, and I like them
Yeah.
all. I watched, let's see, I was dumb, and I took no notes, so I'm trying to remember the titles off the back of my head. The Silent, Laughing in the Dark. I saw The Silent Servant. I saw The Unfinished Painting. Is that the title?
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah. I saw the Ghastly Grin.
Yeah, Ghastly Grinner, yes.
Mm-hmm. And I saw the, what was that last one? I had to buy it. What was it
13th
called?
13th Floor.
Yes. Those are the ones I saw, and I liked them all. I like that last one. Maybe the best. Maybe not as much as the Ghastly Grinnell. I don't know. Those two will tied.
Ghastly Grinner is definitely like a creepy, like fun one. I hate the like how they defeat him.
It's not great.
Annoys me.
Up until then, it's awesome.
Yeah. It's there's a lot of real cool deaths. So I mean, I guess no one really dies, but possessions, I guess you would call it. With the blue goo.
Yeah, it's also really fast paced. I noticed some of these can kind of drag a bit, but this one was it began and did not stop the moment it started. I loved the kill tools involved too, like the lady who built at the comic book shop who keeps calling everybody cakes. I've never heard anyone call anyone cakes in my life.
Sylvester Uncas.
What a name. What a great name that is. Uncas.
And I love the kid, like the main boy, like he totally reminds me of a million guys I knew in the 90s.
I'm convinced the friend that helps him, the little girl.
Oh, yeah.
I'm convinced she was recast. Because there's a section when they sit on a bus and they see on the comic book a drawn panel of both of them, and that kid is black in that photograph. I think she was recast.
Interesting. I never noticed. Definitely have to watch that. Yeah, what is her? Oh, I forget the girl's name.
It's like it begins with a P, like Pumpernickel something.
Yeah, it's something like that. It is something like that. Something weird. Yeah, I love her because she kind of reminds me of the girl in the movie The Wizard, Moira Grissom.
Yeah.
Who was like one of the people in playing Super Mario 3 to win the video Armageddon. So I like her. It's nice seeing a nerd girl represented.
Outside of this episode, have you ever witnessed anyone use cakes the way it's referenced in this show?
No.
It's amazing.
No, and if someone did, I would immediately think that they're referencing this episode. Immediately.
It's such an odd thing to call somebody, but it's awesome.
Yeah, I gotta know where that came from, because whoever wrote that episode, like, that's gotta be like a term of affection that they use. Because no one just pulls that out of nowhere. Cakes. So cute.
I also want to know how they connected microwaves to this episode. I feel like they were just writing it in the kitchen. They just saw a microwave and went, this should do it.
Probably. I really don't like that part of the story at all. It sucks because it's almost perfect, and then it's like microwaves, and then they show you the panel of him like microwaves. And it's a bummer, but what can you do?
I have one last question about this episode before we move on.
Yeah.
When the lady is telling him about the comic books she has, she begins going over the prices, and she goes, 1 for 1, well, 4 for 5. How is that a discount?
Yeah, I think she was just trying to get him to stay in the store a little longer so she could, make him do her bidding and free Sylvester Uncas.
I wish she had been just in the whole episode because she was a delight.
Right.
Anytime she was on a scene.
She is great. And that's the other thing. It was just like, hey, I'm here to give you all this, story or whatever, but please free my father because he's the real hero.
Going on.
He's just been stuck.
I don't even think he said anything once he was free. He just kind of looked at the kid like, thanks.
He just like, hey, gives his daughter a hug and the end.
Back to my microwave. Going on to the haunted house attraction one, Laughing in the Dark. That was spooky.
Yeah.
That was spooky.
Yeah, it's probably one of the more well-known ones. I think just because it's a clown one, and clowns are inherently creepy to a lot of people. And that has Vink in it, but he's not playing Vink. Vink is like a series regular character, along with Sardo. They're probably the only two that kind of cross episodes. But yeah, Vink is, it might just be the actor and it's not supposed to be Vink. Is like the guy leading in. It's the most fun in the park when you're laughing.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, I had no idea who you were talking about.
The bad guy who's not the clown.
His line delivery was awesome, though.
Yeah. So I can't even remember, is Zebo... Is he evil just because he's a clown, or because he was murdered in the fun house? Something like that?
I also forget, despite watching that one 2 days ago, I think he was just pissed that someone took his nose, but that doesn't seem right now.
Right. But I'm trying to remember, like, why he's, like, there, like, possessing the house. Or I feel like it's something to do, like, he got burned up with the cigar or something. By kids.
I think I remember thinking, this is really similar to the plot of A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right, yeah. He's like, something happens where he gets, like, accidentally or intentionally burned alive or something. And with the cigar. And that's why you always smell cigar smoke before he comes.
That's great. Did you practice that before coming on? Or just instant?
Oh, I know. I've said that probably every day for the last 20 years. Along with another episode. I think it's Old Man. No, not Old Man. Cutter's Treasure, where the kid just turns into a girl and says, "You want to make out?" I know I've said that to my husband more than 8 times in our marriage. You want to make it? No. What's funny is I didn't realize, like, they were Canadian for the longest time. I was just like, why do so many pronounce things weird? It didn't even occur to me.
I wonder if Canadians make fun of the way we say out.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I've lived in Maryland all my life, and I used to think I didn't have a Maryland accent, but sometimes it comes out, and I just want to rip out my tongue. Like the worst Maryland thing is like, well, because I hear car commercials all the time, so it's Silverado.
I don't know what fucking accent I have. I don't think I have a specific, like, state accent. I think I just have, like, a what do you call it, a speech impediment, so that's just my accent. Although, throughout my life, people have gone like, hey, what are you from, the UK? And I always say yes.
Yes. My mom is from Martha's Vineyard, and people used to always ask if she was from England.
It's fun just to lie about where you're from. And then sometimes they try to quiz you, and then you just keep lying. And they don't know enough to know if you're lying. But now, because of cell phones, they can bust you. But there was a point in my childhood when I could lie about these things, and no one could look it up. And it was great.
Yeah. No, one time, my best friend and I, like, we saw some cute boys and we pretended to be Scottish for like the better part of an hour. It was embarrassing, but they were really cute.
I have something really similar that happened to me in my childhood when I was at a friend's house, and a mutual friend was also at his house, and he said, "What are you, from the UK?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Oh my God, my sister has a big crush on people from the UK." And I said, "Well," and then he dialed her phone number, and then for a long time I was talking to her, pretending to be from the UK, and I was quickly busted because she knew more about that country than I did.
Oh no. It's amazing. I love that. Like, when I was pretending to be Scottish, I was just impersonating Ewan McGregor from like Shallow Grave and Train Spotting, which was like, I should have been impersonating like Kelly MacDonald from Train Spotting, you know.
Were you just talking about shooting up?
Yeah. I was doing a lot of Shallow Grave lines because we were on Martha's Vineyard, on Jaws Bridge, you know, where they filmed Jaws is like swimming under right before he like, you know, almost attacks the little kid on the boat. That bridge right there, you can jump off of it. And it's called Jaws Bridge. So I was saying, she's like, "Are you scared?" That was kind of more Irish, but and I'm like, "No, I'm not scared. I'm pretty fucking terrified, but I'm not scared."
Oh my God.
Which was like straight from Shallow Grave.
Wow. I haven't seen that movie, but it sounds like it's from the movie. It sounds like something that would be said in a movie called Shallow Graves.
Yeah, it's a Danny Boyle movie from like 1993 or 4. It's so good.
Cool. I like him. He does good stuff. He should have directed an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh, that would have been amazing.
And now, for approval of the Midnight Society, I forget the quote now, but the tale of the man who crawls into a toilet.
Well, there are some episodes that feel like you're crawling into toilets, so.
Oh, did you just dunk
sure.
on the show?
Yeah, yeah. Well, there are some not great episodes, but yeah, most of them. If it's a Betty Ann, you're probably going to be safe. I'm pretty sure she did. I can't remember if she did Unfinished Painting.
No, it was a boy.
No, because that ended happily.
Yeah, the setup with that one was this one boy was blocked. He didn't know what to say, so a different boy was like, I'll take over and I'll do one.
Oh, okay.
Kind of tying in with the unfinished theme.
With the theme of the finishing the painting. I love that one because, like, of that first moment where she opens the cabinet and there's just, like, that head in there that's like, hey!
Yeah, I would love a head cabinet in my own house.
And, of course, the, you know what? I feel like that, like a gif of, like, that final scene of, like, the lady's head laughing and burning in the dumpster that's on fire is the perfect 2020 sum up.
Yes. Absolutely.
Oh my God, I love that moment so much.
I wish desperately I could play in the playroom of the 13th floor episode.
Yeah.
Just the coloring of it. I would love that to look like my house.
Yeah, yeah. And, like, it's just so many weird blocks just moving around strangely. It's just like, what are the blocks? I can't tell if they're servants or there's some real weird I've had like like theological and moralistic conversations about that episode because I feel like there's some weird things going on with the robot servant.
Please get into it. Yeah, go.
Well, because it's strange because so the episode starts off with we have a brother and a sister, one of which the sister is adopted. And they're both kind of, she feels always like not as good as him, like she doesn't belong, but he's like a really good brother. Like they are best friends, clearly. he always wants to include her. He's always telling her, you just gotta practice, and it just takes time to get good at things, which I think is just a very valuable lesson, and I really liked the relationship that was depicted. So they like to play a lot on this empty 13th floor, and they play like hockey and stuff like that. And they go up there one day, and there's a toy factory moving in, and they get these like invitations, or she gets an invitation, and he doesn't get one, but he comes along as well. And like as they're playing and stuff, like she's good at a lot of the stuff and he isn't. And we see that like the people running it, well, first of all, we know they're weird because they're wearing jumpsuits, and like, because nobody but me wears jumpsuits, so that it's strange, and their hair is weird, and they speak funny. But there's there's 3 of them basically, and as the episode goes along, like it's revealed that they're like adjusting something in the room. This is causing the brother to get very sleepy and not be able to do the tasks, while the sister is like excelling and she's able to now like levitate things. And then it's revealed that like the third guy is not actually a guy. He's like a robot dude. Doesn't the
kid call him Bullet Head?
Yeah. Which is a great insult. I don't understand what the thing is there. Like, does the robot have autonomy? Is it programmed to be a servant? It looks like them. It's from the same place as them. It seems to have a vested interest in the girl, coming with them. Yet, I mean, they're controlling him with like a remote control too, just turning him on and off and blah, blah.
Were they also controlling him when he would like infiltrate the TV at night?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Oh, that's another little side thing too. She keeps getting like the TV messages. I'm not sure. It seems strange to me because they don't seem to respect him much.
No, they don't. I like how every time I like how every time she gets away, the woman comes back in and just like smacks him and goes, "Come on, stop fucking around and get this kid." And then she just walks away to do what? She's just waiting in the hallway?
Yeah, she's just, I leave you alone for 2 seconds and look what happens.
I want a sitcom with just these 2 people, like, living together.
Yeah, they're great. And then obviously we go along and we find out that they're from another planet, and, they appear on the screen after, so they want her to come back, but she has to leave her brother. Her brother's gonna, like, die.
Yeah.
If she leaves. Like, her nice brother. I mean, even in episodes where we have, which there are many, a sibling who is a complete asshole, or, the relationship is between a bully and their target, and then eventually, like, even in that situation, the good person hardly ever leaves the bad person behind. Like, they always make the decision to save them. So in the instance where we have 2 good people, a brother and a sister who love each other, like, how could she leave? So it just seems to me like very dickish of the aliens to be like, come on, just fuck that guy. He's been nothing but great to you, but fuck him.
I mean, there's even a good example when they first arrive to the place and they're like, "Oh, we didn't invite you, kid, scram." And he's like, "When I leave, my sister leaves, dude."
Yeah, because, like, who's gonna leave their sister alone with a bunch of strangers?
Also, feel the fucking villains in this episode, my god.
Yeah. No, they were adopted by the apartment itself. It's okay.
I did. That reminds me of a funny line in the beginning. I forget what happened, but the boy was like, "Oh, you can't use the adoption excuse all the time." And she's like, "Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
It's like it's convenient."
Yeah, that's my excuse for life, friend. Um, yeah, so it's I guess in the beginning they do try to dissuade the kid from coming, so they don't have to kill him, but still. So she chooses her brother, and they leave, and the aliens leave, and then she gets that message that, hey, this, we weren't trying to hurt you. This was a rescue mission. You were left here by accident. We came to pick you up and bring you back home. And then that awesome like reveal of her alien face is just one of the greatest like endings to any episode.
It was amazing. Yeah, of the ones I've seen, it had the best ending by a long stretch. The whole episode was fantastic. It was the best one I saw. Absolutely.
I think that most of them are just are pretty tight as far as the storytelling. Like, a lot of them are going to be a similar plot where it's, a kid being bullied or held back or, whatever, and then them overcoming that. Or there's a ghost that's trapped somewhere and a kid has to figure out how to free them, or, they either free them or they get sucked into the world or something like that. If Betty Ann's telling it, they usually get sucked into the world or something like that.
I quite like how they've devised like these stories based on the characters' personalities, and you have a different tell depending on who's telling it. That's really cool.
Yeah. Like if you get a Gary's usually going to be magic, supernatural. He has the Sardo character, no Mr. accent on the dough. That's his line. Says it every single time. So you're going to there's one that is probably one of the worst episodes as far as like what everyone would say, but I still absolutely love it because it's terrible. I just love the scale of it. And it's called Pinball Wizard. And it takes place, a kid gets trapped in the mall, and he's a big, like, pinball fan, and he has all these tasks. He has to, like, free the princess and get the crown and all this kind of stuff, and it's all happening in the mall. So you got giant pinballs, like, coming down the escalator. You have
sounds amazing.
Yeah, like, it's pretty bad, but... I like it a lot. It's definitely one of the ones where when I make my husband watch it, he's just like, why? But like just the scale of it is impressive, and I just love the the nostalgia of everyone had that dream of getting trapped in the mall overnight and just running wild. So it kind of felt like that, except whoops, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. Okay. I have this mental floss article I mentioned at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of the what do you call it? The frightening facts will not feel like frightening. In fact, I don't think any of the facts were frightening. I think this is a bit of a little bit of hype. What the fuck is that really called? Hyperbole? No. Hyperbole. Yes. I hate that build so much. I don't know why I chose to say it. Anyway, so like Nickelodeon evidently did not want it for like a year and a half or something because they were not in the business of frightening kids. And then someone else just saw the pitch and went, why aren't we doing that? That's a pretty frightening pitch.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you for approving that pitch.
Evidently, the title was inspired by Dr. Seuss. You know about that?
No.
There's a poem or a short story called What Was I Scared Of? And the person who created the show always liked that story. So they took that title and thought, well, I was afraid of clowns and I was afraid of the dark. And he just... Imagine if the show was all you were afraid of clowns. It'd be terrible.
Are you afraid of clowns? Yes. Now I am. After Zebo.
The person who created the show got chickenpox from auditioning kids, which is hilarious.
Oh Oh my god.
Ryan Gosling turned down joining the Midnight Society. I guess he was offered the position, but he said, no, I'm going to be a Mickey Mouse boy instead.
Yeah. But he was in an episode.
He was. I haven't seen it, but I saw a clip, and he's
It
with
also...
Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah, yeah. It's actually, I mean, it's kind of creepy. It's definitely a creepy one because Gilbert Gottfried like uses a different voice at first, and you have no idea it's him. So you actually hear him a whole bunch of times before they reveal it's Gilbert Gottfried. And I definitely remember watching that episode new and being like, oh my god.
There's a recorded phone call someplace online of what he actually sounds like, and it's super terrifying because it's nothing like his performance voice.
Yeah, I mean, the voice that he does at the beginning of the episode is very different and creepy.
Evidently, nobody on the show actually lights the campfire because Nickelodeon didn't want to educate kids on how to light a match.
Oh. It's just always burning.
Which is more terrifying.
They just show them extinguishing it.
Yes, which is, I found out what the dust is made out of. Do you know what it's made out of?
No.
Coffee Mate.
Coffee Mate?
Yeah. Non-jelly creamer.
Oh. I did an Are You Afraid of the Dark like fan fiction reading at a bar once, and I definitely brought a bag of baby powder for the audience. Make it immersive.
They're still cleaning that baby powder today. It has not left.
Yes.
Any other fun facts? Oh, they wanted to base the stories on classic short stories because if anyone complained about it, they could just use that as an excuse. They could say, it's based off of this classic book. Don't blame us.
Right.
Pretty,
I can see how some of them are, but
yeah.
I mean, some of them seem... It's like all the romantic ones are pretty similar. Like anything that's like, what do they call it? Like a wailing woman kind of ghost, like prom night ghost and stuff like that. Those are all pretty similarly tied to that woman in white legend.
Definitely. They shot in real cemeteries, but with fake names because it's illegal to include the name of a dead person in a film.
What? I didn't know that.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe in Canada it is.
Yeah, that doesn't really.
Yeah, they had to use fake tombstones in a real cemetery. Why even go to a real cemetery then?
Oh my gosh, I can't remember what I was watching the other day that had a movie where like he was in a cemetery, but like the tombstone he was at was like so far removed from the cemetery that it was just like, so here's our fake cemetery in front of the cemetery. It was very obvious. It was so strange.
I want to put it in like some type of legal document that when I die, I want a fake Halloween cemetery as gravestone just to throw people off.
Yes. You should get like, some stickers that you can like put over the gravestone like every year a different engraving.
I bet I can make that happen somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't change it out every 12 months, I come back as a ghost.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah. Evidently, mosquitoes were a huge issue, and like the crew had a real giant mosquito beekeeping outfits the whole time because they were just nuts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, did the kids, did they just douse them in, bug spray or something?
Well, I guess a lot of the takes while filming had to be scrapped because they would just begin slapping at mosquitoes while being filmed.
God.
Canada sounds awful.
Yeah. Yeah, this doesn't sound like great working conditions.
At least 3 kids died from mosquito infections. No,
what?
No, I'm making it up. That's why that one boy never came back.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Wasn't a huge loss.
Yeah, that's all the the facts I'll get into, the rest of them will even lamer than that. Surprisingly, I love these articles that like just fucking trick you into clicking on them. It's lame. Like, did you know? Children are always afraid of the dark, and that's why the show is called that. Well, did you know that to usually the campfires need a flame? I'm surprised that wasn't a fact on this article. Mentalfloss.com, you Lyle.
Well, I think we've already talked about more relevant things than that entire article had in it.
I think so too. Anything else you have in mind you want to discuss about this show? I mean, you posted a photo.
What did you think of Silent Servant?
It was okay. I had a difficult time paying attention to that one. I thought it was a little too slow.
Yeah, it was pretty... I like that one a lot just because of the Scarecrow looks terrifying.
It does. And if I ever find a Scarecrow just in the ground, I'm just going to pick it up and go hang it, Samuel, like that kid did. That was great.
Yeah. Calavector Solemnos.
What else did I watch? I don't know now. Did we talk about them all?
And finished painting, 13th floor.
Yeah, I think we did.
I think so. Yeah, there's it sucks that that YouTube just mostly has the like 6th season. They're really, really bad. And there's so many other ones that I could suggest that are just really great. And I love them so much because they're so short. They're like 22 minutes long or something like that.
Yeah, Netflix got a little thing or two from Canada. I'm sick of these like 90-minute episodes of TV shows. I don't take that long to eat breakfast. I need a 22-minute show.
Right? All right. I need something where I wanna watch like 5 episodes and have it not be 8 hours later.
No, that's my day. Time to go to bed now.
Yeah.
Something else I want to get into is I had no idea how much the Twitter account Midnight Pals took from this show, and it makes a lot more sense to me now. I even had the creator of that show on this podcast, and somehow I still miss the fact that she has taken the whole theme of the show onto the Twitter account. I just assumed like she made that up. Nope.
That's amazing. Yeah, I've loved following those. Those are so great.
Yeah, I have a whole new respect for that Twitter account. I loved it before, but now I like it even more knowing that she's riffing off this show.
Yeah. It's definitely there's another there's a podcast called We're Not Afraid of the Dark that is pretty good, and I've listened to a few of those and just laughed along with them.
What kind of podcast is that?
It's like they just talk about episodes, and usually they get drunk and just...
That sounds like a fun time.
Fun of the episodes.
I'm going to have to check that out. That sounds fun. All right. What do you have to promote, Jessica? What's going on?
Ooh, I have a story that just came out in Silent Motorist Media's anthology, The Nightside Codex, which is all about like haunted manuscripts and books and text messages, or in my case, my story is called Pulpit Fiction, and it's about a haunted like religious tract, so or an evil religious tract. So yeah, that came out I think last month, and I think it's coming out soon. I don't think it's come out quite yet. But the Not All Monsters anthology from Strange House, edited by Sarah Tantlinger. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And I have a story called, oh God, I always get it wrong because it's so bad when you can't remember the title of your story, because I think it's This Can Happen to You. And I always get confused with the It Might Happen, or It Can the one with Nicolas Cage and Bridget Fonda.
Oh, yeah.
About the lottery, because mine's about a lottery too, but the words are slightly different, and I can never remember which one is my story.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. I think it's This Can Happen to You.
Okay.
But that's I think that's coming out really soon from Strange House, and it's all female horror writers, and it looks like it's going to be friggin' kick-ass.
That sounds awesome. All right. And how can folks find you online?
I am at jessicamchughbooks.com, and not too much going on there right now, except if you want to look at some Blackout poetry and maybe purchase some of that. I'm mostly on Twitter and Instagram at the Jess McHugh. I am also on TikTok, the Jess McHugh, and I'm also on Facebook, but fuck Facebook.
I'm so excited to hear you say that. I always, mostly as a joke, whenever a guest is saying all the social media accounts they have, I ask if they're on TikTok yet, and they always say no. Well, they go, "What's that?" And, oh my god, I have someone now who has a TikTok. Should Ghoulish have a TikTok?
My husband had to give me his old iPhone just so I could use TikTok. Because my iPhone can't handle it.
It's just, is it the same thing as a Vine? A Vine? I don't know.
Yeah, it's basically like Vines.
Okay.
And I really don't, I got, when I first got it, like I was doing like a million stuff a day, and now I'm just now I just jump on Instagram Reels and lip sync something and, just move along with my life. But I've been trying to post more on TikTok. It's hard to do like really portray writing on TikTok. I've done some stuff, but it's more for like just funny videos and dancing, which I'm down with. It's I definitely can spend hours just scrolling through people being awesome, ridiculous, amazing humans. So it's nice. It's a nice mood booster.
I think Ghoulish is gonna have to get an official TikTok account.
Yeah, I mean your daily time checks would do well on TikTok, probably.
Oh, good point. Yeah. Okay, I'll look into that, because you always gotta know what time it is.
And you could always end it with like the time changing and be like TikTok.
Oh my god! You just blew my fucking mind. All right. Well, I think.
Oh my god, they would hate that.
What?
They would hate it.
Oh no, that means I have to do it.
No. I don't know what anyone hates or loves on TikTok. It's just a big mishmash of silliness. So I think it would fit in.
That sounds like a bad Batman villain. TikTok.
Yeah. I'm into it.
Anyway, okay. This has been an episode of Ghoulish. I was going to say the ending line of every episode, but I think you should say it.
Oh my god, now I have to think about what it is.
I declare this meeting of the Midnight...
I declare this meeting of this podcast, Ghoulish podcast, closed. Be safe, everyone.
Hey friends, did you enjoy the latest episode of Ghoulish? Well then why don't you go leave a review on iTunes if you like it so much, huh? How about that? And then why don't you support us on Patreon at patreon.com/PMM Publishing. Go pick up Standalone by Carmichael Anderson. Go pre-order the next book we're publishing, Antioch by Jessica Leonard. Go buy my book, We Need to Do Something, by me, Max Booth, a host. Get those books over at perpetualpublishing.com. Whatever you do, friends, live spooky, die spooky.
Spooky! Die, Spooky!